This was a terrible idea, Bungie. If you don't know, Bungie tried to cook up something different this weekend in Trials, and I'm all for experimentation, but this one flopped horribly. All right, we have the map disjunction that was introduced, and along with this map, they brought this like class-specific matchmaking where every fire team is made up of one hunter, one warlock, and one titan. Now, initially, you might think that's kind of good because then you don't have to match, triple void hunters, being cringe or anything like that. But the reality is that like 50% of the Trials player base is hunters. So everyone was getting error codes. All the hunters were getting this error code right here where they're queuing into matches and they literally cannot find a match because there's not enough Titans and Warlocks out there to match with them. So the matchmaking has been awful. Obviously, the interest on the map disjunction is pretty low. Bungie did try to adjust the spawns a little bit, so that way we were a little bit closer rather than the 6v6 spawns on the map disjunction, but I really don't think it's made a ton of difference. I still think people just genuinely don't like this map, just to the way it's like configured. Like the lanes are awkward. There's a lot of like weird elevation changes. Overall, I just am not a big fan of this map in general. And I do think Bungie should try and experiment once in a while with new stuff. So I don't necessarily hate that they tried something new. And I think that we should, encourage that to some degree. But we also got to give the feedback, right? This map was not it for me, in my opinion. And the class-specific matchmaking has been plaguing the hunters out there. Let me know what your experience has been. Obviously, I'm a Titan, so I had no problems matchmaking, finding people. I think the Warlocks out there would agree. They probably had very little problem because there's plenty of hunters to fill in the spots. But for the hunters out there, it's been a really rough time. Like I said, around 48 to around 50% of all the players are choosing hunter. Like this is like by far the most popular class for PvP, especially in Trials of Osiris. So matchmaking queue times have just been off the charts. Along with that, the last thing I'll say in my one card Trials experience was that they recently added the ability for solo players to match fire teams of 3. So if you don't know how it works, as a solo player, you're going to match a fire team of 3, but they're going to give you a duo on your team to kind of balance it out just a little bit, all right? And the reason why they did this is because they didn't want to get rid of duo queues in general, and they wanted to help improve, the matchmaking times so that way you can find matches a little bit quicker, which I'm all for. I'm all for not having to sit and wait in queue forever, but I, as a solo, had to match the fire team of ZK Mushroom, Frostbolt, and Aztecross. All right. Now, I can tell you right now, we lost 5-0. Okay. And I think that pretty much anyone that has to solo queue in and go up against a very stacked team is going to lose like that. It's just a tough match. It's a little bit frustrating. You're like, all right, look, I understand I'm going to match a trio once in a while, but at least give the skill-based matchmaking rating so that way the solo and the duo are probably higher because they don't have comms. Like I don't have any comms with the duo team I had, and the trio team has really high skill rating and obviously a lot of experience, and so we were doomed. You know what I'm saying? It was an experience. I was like, man, I would have preferred to not match this team in general. I feel like that's not very fair for a solo player to match such a stacked, sweaty team of 3, but it is what it is. I'm not here to complain about that. It's just I want to hear what your experience is as a solo player as well. I did eventually make it to Lighthouse. I did get my Adept Shire's Wrath. I wasn't too upset about that. Like, we had a few losses along the way. The new Trials update is excellent. I do enjoy the ability to lose and still make it to Lighthouse. I think that's fun. I think that encourages people to jump in and play. But overall, the class-specific matchmaking is sucking hard for hunters right now. This map sucks, in my opinion. And the solo queue experience can be a bit rough at times with fire teams of 3 getting pushed into the mix now. But let me know what you think about this feedback down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.